Hi, Mike. Perfect. It's 12 p.m. Felicia, shall we go ahead and start?
I think that sounds great. All right, hello everyone. My name is Felicia Fuller. I am the Director of Operations here at GBRI, and I would like to thank you all for joining us today for our Introduction to WELL version 2 and becoming a WELL AP. Are you ready for what's next? While we wait for everyone to join, let me introduce you to GBRI. GBRI is a privately owned online gamified education platform with a mission to make sustainability resources available and accessible to everyone around the world. Located in New York City with a presence around the world, GBRI is a USGBC education partner, AIA education provider, and education partner for various other organizations, including the UN SDGs, CHIPS, and the Rhode Island Energy Efficiency Council. We believe a truly sustainable future must also be an equitable one where every human is treated equally and fairly. Our mission is to make sustainability, health, and wellness education available and affordable to everyone around the world. With hundreds of sustainability courses surrounding the topics of energy, water, LEED, net zero buildings, green schools, energy modeling, daylighting, health and wellness, just to name a few, Learning Hub at GBRI is your one-stop shop for all your sustainability education needs. And as I mentioned earlier, GBRI is a proud partner of the United Nations on its 2030 agenda, where we create free courses and social experiments related to the 17 sustainability development goals that you see listed here. GBRI's courses on the WELL building standard are aligned with goal number 3, which is good health and well-being, and goal number 4, which is quality education, and goal number 6, which is clean water and sanitation. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So today's webinar is a gamified event, meaning we will have interactive quiz elements, polls throughout the session, as well as a fun Kahoot at the end that you can participate in using your smartphone. The webinar will be posted on demand within 24 hours, and we will also be issuing a certificate of completion for your participation today. Along with this, we will also be sending you the details needed to self-report today's webinar for any LEED or WELL CE credits. And just a couple of things I'd like to remind you all of. So we have muted all attendees to limit the background noise. I would encourage you all to post your questions in the Q&A or chat box, as we will have a Q&A at the end of today's session for those wanting to participate. And so I think let's go ahead and do a quick test to see if everybody has been able to locate the chat box. So what part of the universe are you joining us from today? So please feel free to enter that in the chat box. I myself am joining from Texas today. I see lots of people. We have, wow, it's going super fast. Florida, Canada, New York City, Colorado, Texas, Georgia. We have, I saw some international, London.
Saudi Arabia, New Delhi, India, Las Vegas, Brooklyn.
lots of people joining from all over the world. It's always fun to see where everyone joins us from.
Kuwait, Congo. Wow. Lovely. Argentina.
Wow, we have England, Chicago. So it seems like we have a pretty wide variety of individuals joining from all over the world.
Hong Kong. St. Lucia.
All right, well, y'all keep entering that into the chat box, but let's go ahead and see here on the screen. We are looking at the agenda and objectives for today's webinar. As you can see, we have a very tightly packed schedule. So with that, let's go ahead and welcome our moderator, Michael Kalita, who is GBRI's executive director and mentor to all of us. Mike is a career construction management executive with 40 years of federal, state, and local government experience, managing military, school, and transportation projects. Currently, he is the executive director at GBRI. His transportation experience includes the New York City train hall project, where he organized and led the pre-opening readiness exercises, and the Long Island Railroad East Side Access Project, which is the largest active transportation infrastructure project in the United States, where he served as the program executive for rail construction. He is a professional engineer in New York and is a certified lead AP O&M professional. And Mike is also a GBRI certified climate change ambassador. So Mike, welcome.
Thank you, Felicia. Hello, everyone. Wow. Welcome to everyone. Very impressed at the turnout today. We're glad that everyone could join us. You're in for some excellent material today. We're going to be introducing you to WELL version 2, as well as becoming a WELL AP professional. As we all know, over the last couple of years, we've experienced quite a change in our lives with COVID-19 dominating the headlines. We all know how important it is to work out of office spaces and even our home environment that are safe and indeed healthy. Well, the WELL certifications and accredited professionals all demonstrate the highest degree of building wellness, if you will. Again, delighted that everyone joined us. Let's go over today's agenda. The WELL building standard creates for building professionals and will help you navigate what it'll take to become excuse me. Sorry about that. Just blocked myself out. Anyway, you'll learn version 2. How to achieve certification for buildings, as well as becoming a professional. We're going to talk about the evolution of WELL, the health and safety rating system, and how it differentiates itself from LEED, for example, and the WELL concepts, the requirements, if you will, what has changed. And then we're going to talk about the actual exam, changes to that format and new release dates, and then how GBRI and WELL work together and what's next for both. Okay, so health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. It's not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. So it's that triad, folks, and we all know how important it is, the physical, mental, and social well-being. Let's keep that in mind as we go through today's program. So the WELL building standard, of course, is anchored by the latest scientific research and what I'd like to say, lessons learned as evidenced by industry best practices. And it certainly serves as the foundation for the entire WELL ecosystem. Right now, WELL is in fact, a global community. There are over 4,300 WELL projects that have already been certified. Many more to come. There's a lot more work to do. There's nearly 13,000 members in over 90 countries. And as far as we're concerned, we're just getting started, and we want to help you advance your careers in this regard as well. We're going to talk about the exam a little bit later. So if we talk a little bit about the WELL rating system and where that started, this was something that was done over a 6-year period. There were expert peer review process that took place. featuring scientists, practitioners, and medical professionals. I think that's a key here that, again, we're getting that triad of experts that built the WELL program. Next slide. Yes. And of course, the WELL mission is universal. We're advancing health in the places that we spend most of our time, which of course is indoors. The benefits of healthy buildings, of course, on the commercial side, there is a 73% positive impact on building lease rates, a 62% impact on building value, and most importantly, there is a 79% positive feedback from occupants, just like us. And I think that's the most important for us to remember. Okay, so there are multiple pathways for your individual WELL journey, from WELL certification to the rating, building ratings. And joining us this morning is Jeslyn Varghese, a USGBC and WELL faculty member. He's in fact as close to an expert in this regard as I certainly have been introduced. Jeslyn received his WELL AP back in 2016. He was probably one of the very first professionals to do so. He recognized early on how important this was going to be to our collective well-being. And Jeslyn's here with us this morning to share more about the WELL building standard, that is version 2, and how it is aligned with the building spaces that we've described. Jeslyn?
Thank you, Mike. And hello, everyone. So Mike already gave a quick introduction about the WELL building standard, and I'm very excited to walk you through whatever little I know. And I'm also excited for Maggie from IWI to be here. So as Mike mentioned, launched in 2014, the WELL building standard has come a long way. With presence in more than 65 countries, the WELL building standard is all about advancing health in the places where we spend most of our lives. As many of you know, us are already aware of, we spend more than 90% of our time indoors. So it is time that we arm the spaces where we live, work, and sleep. That said, WELL version 2 is designed to work with all types of building projects, from commercial buildings to warehouses, stadiums, to hotels, to hospitals. So let's look at, with our experience with the pandemic, as Mike mentioned, we know no building was spared, and it makes the most sense to guard all the buildings where we spend a good portion of our lives. WELL certification requires a comprehensive approach to health and well-being, applying strategies from the WELL building standard across 10 concept areas that you see here on the screen. I don't know if I actually went through. There was supposed to be an animation on the screen. I'm hoping you can see all the 10 concepts: the air, water, nourishment, light, movement, thermal comfort, sound, materials, mind, and community. WELL certification prioritizes accountability through mandatory on-site performance testing and a third-party documentation review by GBCI. I'm sure many of you are already familiar with GBCI. GBCI is the third-party program or institution that also manages the LEED certification. The on-site performance include testing air quality, water quality, light, sound, and thermal attributes of spaces within the building, where occupants spend most of their time. So on the screen, you're looking at the 3 components: the on-site component, on-site testing, and the performance review, which results in the performance verification. Under version 1.0 or version 1, there were 3 levels of certifications: the silver, gold, and platinum. For silver, projects had to meet all preconditions. In fact, the same for gold and platinum. And for gold, 40% optimizations, and for platinum, 80% or more of optimizations. Under version 4.2, there are 4 levels: bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. And they have moved to a point system where bronze is at least 40 points, silver for at least 50, gold 60, and platinum 80. So that was the well building, just the standard overview. So now let's look at the well health and safety rating. It is interesting how COVID-19 has reshaped how we design, maintain, and operate our building spaces. In December 2020, at GBRI, we did a webinar on HVAC and COVID-19. And this was one of the things we talked about, the well building standards, health and safety rating. The genesis of the well safety rating was feedback from IWI task force on COVID-19. Institutional knowledge and guidance on the spread of COVID-19 and other respiratory diseases by WHO, CDC, and other research institutions, coupled with standards and strategies from the evidence-based already existing well building standard and the well advisories. It all helped fuel and create this safety standard. The Well Health Safety Rating is a third-party verified annual rating that focuses on 4 elements: operational policies, maintenance protocols, emergency plans, and stakeholder education and engagement. Together, they address a post-COVID-19 environment now and broader health and safety-related issues into the future. The well safety rating is applicable for any facility type, as you can see here, and the list is not exclusive. It's again managed by third-party verification by GBCI. To remain well health safety rated and show ongoing commitment, projects must renew annually. And the safety rating shows a facility is kept clean and sanitized, it provides essential health services, communicates health and safety efforts, make sure occupants are prepared for an emergency, and last but not least, monitors the air and water quality. So how is the well health safety rating different from well certification? As mentioned previously, well certification requires a comprehensive approach across 10 concept areas. I showed the list: the air, water, nourishment, light, movement, thermal comfort, sound, materials, mind, and community. The well health safety rating features, on the other hand, are a subset of those available through the well building standard, and they could be adapted to focus specifically on facilities, operations, and management. Now, projects may use the health and safety rating as a stepping stone to well certification at a later stage or even concurrently. There are a few options. I see a couple of questions over here too. So owners or operators can pursue the well health safety rating for buildings or spaces on their own, and use the rating as a stepping stone, as I mentioned, through the well portfolio journeys. And there is also a important guide, certification guide, and the well building standard that you can refer to. Now that is clear how the well rating system is different than well certification, let's dive into some changes under version 2. So on the screen, you are looking at some structural changes between version 1, the pilot version, and the version 2. One of the things I find very useful for project is that the well version 2 building standard reduces the number of preconditions, and it expands optimizations to allow projects to customize their journey. In addition, well version 2, you'll also see a consolidated features to reduce complexity, and it has strengthened the feature set to meet industry standards. In terms of concepts, well version 2 has added 3 new concepts, Well version 1 comprised of 7 concepts, namely air, water, nourishment, light, fitness, comfort, and mind. Well version 2 comprised of 10, which I named previously, and you can see on the screen here. As you can see, the 3 concepts that are new are mainly sound, which was addressed previously under comfort, under version 1. The second new concept is materials. This was the new one, and the third one is the community. Well version 2 also aims to benefit a variety of people, including especially disadvantaged and vulnerable populations, which we'll talk about in the later sections. Before I go in details, I thought it may be helpful for folks who are new to well. Each concept consists of features with distinct health intents, and also these features could be preconditions or optimizations. Preconditions define the fundamental component of a well-certified space, and it serves as a universal foundation of all healthy buildings. So this is something like a prerequisite. If you are familiar with LEED rating system, these are something that all projects must meet in order to earn the well certification. So on the other hand, optimizations are like they are flexible and like LEED credits that are worth points. Optimizations are optional pathways for projects to meet certification goals. Project teams may select which optimizations to pursue and which parts to focus on within each optimization. As an example here, smoke-free environment is actually an optimization. This is, if you're familiar with LEED, this is also something, we have something similar within LEED. This particular optimization deters smoking, minimize occupant exposure to secondhand smoke, and also reduces smoke pollution. And one other thing interesting is that you will notice in the new well rating system that each optimization or precondition, you will see a related UN SDG goal. So for example, on the screen, you're looking at goal number 3, which is good health and well-being, which I thought was very interesting for organizations and companies supporting the UN SDGs, just like GBRI. All right, let's dive deeper into each concept. If you are not a well AP, the following slides may sound a bit technical, but no worries, I'll keep them short. We also have a standalone course for existing well APs that go into details of what has changed under each precondition and optimization. So we'll start with the air concept. The well air concept aims to achieve high levels of indoor air quality across the building's lifetime through diverse set of strategies that include source elimination or reduction, active and passive building design and operation strategies, and human behavioral interventions. On the screen now, you're looking at the version 1 and version 2 number of features and number of preconditions and optimizations. As I mentioned previously, the version 2, the number of preconditions has been drastically reduced. And this is again for the benefit of the project. And many of the features has been optimized. Some of them moved to other sections and things like that. So the main one over here is the features like in version 1, feature 4, 9, 10 that focused on material requirements have now been moved to the new concept, the material concept. Features like humidity control has been moved from air to thermal comfort. And that's the reason why you will see the number of features are far less in version 2 compared to version 1. The water concept covers aspects of water quality, distribution, and control of water in a building. It includes features that address the availability and contaminant thresholds of drinking water. It also has features targeting the management of water to avoid damage to building materials and environmental conditions. On the screen here, you're looking at both the scenarios, the version 1 and version 2. So this is one of those concepts that has seen the fewest changes in version 2. There have been some consolidations and new requirement additions that help make this concept more robust. The preconditions, for example, requirements in version 1 are still preconditions in well version 2, but they are merged into two features, WO1 and WO2. Similar to monitoring requirement in the air concept, water also has a new requirement, a new precondition to monitor fundamental water properties. And of course, it also has some specific threshold requirements for a number of water contaminants. The third concept is well nourishment. The well nourishment concept requires the availability of fruits and vegetables and nutritional transparency. It encourages projects the creation of food environments where the healthiest choice is the easiest choice. Nourishment's concept has seen a large reduction in the number of preconditions required. It is providing more flexibility for various types of food service to implement well across building spaces. The table here explains the segregation of features under nourishment concept into preconditions and optimizations in well V1 and V2. For example, portions of V1 preconditioned, if you remember the numbers like the 38, 40, and 44 that have been retained in V2, which relate to availability of fruits and vegetables and nutritional transparency. And previous conditions like preconditions like processed foods, artificial ingredients, and food advertising, they have become optimization under version 2. So you can see that the optimization has gone from 7 to 11 in version 2, and preconditions have been reduced from 7 to 2. The well light concept promotes exposure to light and aims to create lighting environments that promote visual, mental, and biological health. On the screen here, you're looking at the major changes, the number of features from 11 to 8. Preconditions, as you have seen until now, has been reduced drastically from version 1 to 2. In this case, 4 to 2. The major one is feature 54, circadian lighting design is now an optimization. Other new requirements added are light concept that relate to electric light flicker management and occupant controllability of ambient lighting. If you're familiar with LEED, this is also one of the enhanced credits under the indoor environmental quality under LEED rating system. So this is, you can see that throughout how LEED and how well complements green building rating systems such as LEED. The well movement concept promotes physical activity in everyday life through environmental design, policies, and programs. So if you remember in the previous section, there was fitness, and now fitness has been renamed into movement. So movement incorporates features from the V1's fitness concept, along with some ergonomic requirements that were previously in the version 1 comfort concept. A noteworthy update in version 2 is the new precondition, active buildings and communities. This precondition can be met by achieving 1 point from a select list of design-based optimizations that you see on the screen here. This unique feature structure was established to allow project teams flexibility when selecting what type of strategy they can use to promote movement, whether it is physical activity and or active living that best fits the project's goals. The well thermal comfort concept aims to promote human productivity and provide a maximum level of thermal comfort among all building users through improved HVAC system design and control, and by meeting individual thermal preferences. Previously, this used to be comfort, and now it's thermal comfort. And if you're familiar with the LEED rating system, this is also very close to the IEQ section. You'll find many credits in there that are related. So you can see here there was new credits, new features 5, 1, and 4. Of course, in version 1, there was no thermal comfort, but they have been moved from other concepts. The well sound concepts aims to bolster occupant health and well-being through the identification and mitigation of acoustical comfort parameters that shape occupant experiences in the built environment, something that is much needed in New York City, you would say. I'm sure you can, once in a while hear the sirens in my background here. Similar to the thermal comfort concept, sound is also a separate concept in version 2, while in version 1, the acoustic requirements were in comfort concept. The sound concept now requirements has been refined while maintaining the version 1 feature intents. For example, the precondition SO1 sound mapping in version 2 focuses on strategic planning and mitigating acoustical disturbance from both externally and internally generated noise. Materials is a separate concept in version 2. While in version 1, the material requirements were included within air concept and mind features, now they are separated into a new concept in itself. The well materials concept aims to reduce human exposure, whether direct or through environmental contamination. And if you are familiar with the LEED rating system, this is also very much in the LEED system. That's VOC requirements and other exposure to environmental contamination. The table here shows the segregation of features under materials into preconditions and optimizations. As you can see, there are 14 features, 3 preconditions, and 11 optimizations. The VOC reduction, a precondition in V1, version 1, has now been moved to the materials concept as 2 optimization features, and they're named X11 and X12, and includes multiple compliance options. Other new features optimizations are waste management, in-place management, and site remediation. And of course, you can see some connection here between the LEED rating system. The well mind concept, which was previously there as well, it promotes mental health through policy, program, and design strategies that seek to address the diverse factors that influence cognitive and emotional well-being. This is one of my favorite concepts within the well building rating system. Mind is more narrowly focused on design, policy, and programmatic strategies now. And this table here actually shows the major differences. The 2 preconditions here relate to mental health promotion, which is MO1, and support occupant well-being by incorporating natural environment through interior and exterior design parameters. Here are some new requirements introduced as optimizations in version 2, such as mental health support and education, very important, respiratory spaces, tobacco prevention and cessation, substance use education, and of course, opioid emergency response plan. So I think these are very valuable suggestions included, in the as optimizations into the mind concept. Community is a new concept in version 2 that covers requirements for equity and social cohesion. So this is again a new, much needed section. I would say probably LEED also is addressing it, equity in LEED, but I feel like many green building rating systems must also start embracing community into when starting designing green building projects, to include community, to make it inclusive, and to make sure that equity is embraced. Some features in versions 2 community concepts are pulled from the mind concepts in version 1. However, the majority of the features in the community concepts are new. Community has most features of the new concepts in version 2. The well community concept aims to support access to essential healthcare, build a culture of health that accommodates diverse population needs, and establish an inclusive, engaged, and occupant community. The table explains the segregation here, again, the features under community concept into preconditions and optimizations. Features such as 84, 85, 86 in the mind concept, which were part in version 1, are now preconditions in the version 2 concepts. Some new much needed features are now added to the well rating system, such as enhanced occupant survey, new mother support, bathroom accommodations, emergency preparedness, and community access and engagement. As you will see that these are some of the topics that were much more, became prevalent in the last couple of years, last few years. And I think WELL is definitely positioning itself to be more resilient and up to date. Now that we explored all 10 concepts, let's talk about innovation. Innovation is not a health intervention, or neither it is a concept, but it touches on all the other concepts. So just like the lead rating system, innovation, you can get points under innovation for bringing in innovative ideas across other categories, right? So in this case, same thing. If projects are able to bring in innovative ideas under any of the 10 concepts, then they are able to earn more points, up to 10 innovation points, in fact. For example, if you have a project WELL AP on your project, then that is also worth 1 point. Just like the lead AP concept, where you have a lead AP with specialty on your project, then the project earns 1 additional point. WELL version 1 comprises of 7 concepts. So I showed it earlier, and now it is the 10 concept. That is the major difference, right? And how does it actually complement LEAD and BREEAM? So from my personal experience, I feel it is not competing with green building rating system. It in fact complements green building rating systems such as LEED and BREEAM and LBC and whatnot. It's up to the building professionals like ourselves how we can see this all bring together. In the end, it should benefit the occupant and the environment and the establishment that is managed in the building. So if we are able to meet the triple bottom line along with everything else that we are seeking importance, then I think it's a win-win situation here. There's a case study done by the World Green Building Council. It was called Building the Business Case, Health, Well-Being, and Productivity in Green Offices. They definitely included projects that were both WELL and LEED certified projects. So in short, I feel like the WELL version 2 is founded on the following principles: equitable, which aims to benefit a variety of people. It is global now with presence in more than 65 countries and growing. It's evidence-based, as Mike pointed out. It's drawing on a diverse and rigorous body of research across various disciplines. It's technically robust. It is continuing to become technically robust, which I continue to appreciate a lot. And it's also very technologically advanced. I wish I could actually show you on the screen how the new rating system looks. You can actually access it online. It is very user-friendly, where you can actually look at each credits, preconditions, and you don't have to print the guide all the time. You can just go online on your phone or your computer, and it's very much accessible. It's customer focused, and last but not least, it's also resilient, which is something that we need in our daily life these days. It keeps pace with advances in research, science, and also it continuously improves by integrating new findings. Thank you, Mike.
Good, Jess. Yeah, thank you, Cheslin. That was a great overview of version 2. And I trust that GBRI is in the process of developing a course that will go into the details of version 2. Good. Kyle Pearson asked a question in that regard. So Kyle, know that we are working on that. Kyle also had a question, Jez, regarding green globes. And his question was, with it being the US version of BREEAM, why doesn't WELL recognize it as an aligned system?
I think it is. I definitely think if you have a Green Globes project, you can utilize WELL also on it. But I don't know if WELL has included the list of Green Globes on the website. That is something which is not in my capacity to answer. But if I were a green building professional, why not? I can integrate any rating system into my project, right? If you are in Egypt or India, let's say India, there is IGBC, there is Griha. If you are in the Middle East, there is Estidama, there is Pearl. If you're in Australia, there is Green Star. So I think you can integrate well to any of these rating systems as long as you are a creative green building professional working with the client.
Mhm. And as you mentioned, Jez, these programs are complementary, all for the benefit of the occupants, which I think, of course, we all agree is necessary as we move forward. So thank you for that. It's good to hear that we'll be rolling out a GBRI course that goes, takes a deep dive into version 2, because many of the professionals will be adhering to version 2 in the future. So I would certainly want to know the details of what needs to be done. You've described the changes in a very comprehensive way, but the deep dive is something that we all need to know. So before we move on to the WELL AP exam, we've got a couple of poll questions for the group. And I don't know how we want them to respond on this, but the first question is, are you a WELL professional? Well, there's the poll, folks. So please complete that. We'll have the results back to you momentarily. Yeah, I just submitted mine. And we'll just take a couple of minutes, well, a couple of moments really, because I do want to move on to our next topic rather quickly here. Yeah, Felicia, let us know when you have enough information on that first question.
Sure. So it looks like we have about 70% who have answered. So what we can do is I can share these results, and then we can share final results for this at the very end as well.
Perfect.
So it looks like for the first question, we had 83% people say no and 17% say yes. So we have lots of people that are not yet WELL APs, but we hope that we can help you all become one.
That's great. I don't know. Can you all see the poll result on the screen? Felicia, is it possible, or is it just up for us? I can see it, but can they see it?
I do not think they can see it. I am not
okay, let
sure.
me just share the screen. Now can you
There we
can
go.
see?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. So
I see it. Sure.
Perfect. So from 222 participants, I think almost 80% answered, and we have close to 28 WELL professionals in the group, and the majority, like Felicia mentioned, 84% are not a WELL AP yet, and out of the 84%, a good 30% are thinking they're going to definitely do it, 15% no, and 40% are undecided.
All right, well, good. I think that's a great start. Just to share with the group, I answered no to the first question and yes to the second question personally. And as was mentioned, I'm a lead AP professional, and I believe that WELL will, give me a more well-rounded background. So that's what my rationale is for pursuing this. So thank you for the poll, and again, we'll have further results at the end. So I want to just go very quickly. We had a few questions. Yes, the study material is only in English. Jez, are plans for other languages?
Yeah, I mean, right now we are planning to do only in English, but I think if we get a good number of demand, then we may do Spanish maybe. But I think that's something also that Maggie may be able to answer if IWI is planning to, she may actually be aware of some other resources if some other languages are available.
We are planning to, but not yet. I would say we're going to do it next year. We'll be translating the materials because it's part of a bigger exercise for us to translate the standard and then translating the exam. But we're really working to actually translate everything. Right now, we do have Chinese will be the first one that we absolutely translate.
Okay. All right, good, Maggie, thank you. And before I formally introduce Maggie to handle the next segment, There's one more question that perhaps you could answer. Will WELL have specializations as LEED does with O&M or building design and construction? Will there be further breakdowns, or is it going to stay as a single concept?
I actually don't know the absolute answer to that. I believe we will be doing that, like making more changes, but I would have to follow up with you on that one to make sure
Okay.
that I'm providing the right
All right.
information.
All right. Well, yep, sure. Very good. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
So as many of you have indicated your desire to pursue your WELL AP, Maggie Hartley, Senior Manager of Product Marketing with the International WELL Building Institute, is with us today to go over the changes to the exam. Maggie, welcome, and please walk us through those changes under the new version.
Thank you. Yeah, excited to be here and tell you guys. Actually, the new exam will be releasing on Monday. So this coming Monday, April 11th, which is very exciting. I believe, oh, perfect. I was just going to say, I believe I have some slides to show you all. So just as an introduction for IWBI. So IWBI, we've really been setting the standard for health leadership for over a decade. We really are at the center of this global demand and surge for health solutions. We currently have 2,000 companies, including 96 of the Fortune 500 that are adopting our global standard WELL as their roadmap for scaling health across their organization. We can move to the next slide. Perfect. So really the mission at IWBI is leading the global movement for putting people first in business making decisions and culture. The next slide. And we're doing that by creating people first places. So we really are what we consider the trusted authority on health and well-being for buildings, organizations, and communities. Move to the next one. And so this is kind of where the WELL AP comes in. The WELL AP is the movement of leaders. It's a credential that signifies advanced knowledge of health, safety, and well-being in buildings, organizations, and communities around the world. So to receive this credential, applicants are required to pass an exam that tests their proficiency in WELL. And currently that is only WELL version 2, which eventually will just be our WELL standard across the board. So really the career possibilities and enhancements are limitless as a WELL AP. We can change to the next slide. So it really spans currently almost every job function and industry. And just as health and safety are becoming increasingly relevant to every position there is, we have employers that are investing in their people by sponsoring the WELL AP, and that's become a very popular choice. Because from HR professionals to architects working on projects to interior designers, having a WELL AP on staff has become more and more impactful for a business. Go to the next slide. So just as a sampling of things you can do as WELL AP, creating people first places in your organization, you'll be able to lead WELL certification efforts and projects. You'll be the advocate for people first design strategies, policies, and operational protocols, because it goes beyond just the design. As mentioned, we have new concepts such as the community concept and the mind concept that really does focus on these policies and operational protocols that make a space healthier to live in. And then also aligning projects with relevant health goals. Oops, there was just one more on the last slide. And transforming your company culture. Now we can move to the next one. And really it's joining this $4.2 trillion industry, the global health and wellness industry, which is increasingly important to the world. You can go to the next one. All right, so just to talk quickly through, we really do have, we were seeing a lot of employers investing in their workers and communities because they know it's the only way to be successful in the long term is making sure that people are healthy, which again is kind of the impact of the WELL AP. We can go to the next one. And this is just a quote from one of our IWI members, Herman Miller. They have about 20 WELL APs on staff and continually providing this third-party verification to their clients and colleagues having WELL APs in abundance. You can move to the next one. So to just get into kind of the nitty-gritty of the process of applying for the WELL AP, it's quite simple. And as many of you have yet to become a WELL AP, just we can walk through the step. The first step obviously is to register. You'll register on wellcertified.com. You'll make a WELL account. And second, you will decide, submit your payment and then prepare for the exam. You prepare for the exam using our core resources. So IWI does not actually create our own study materials because we created the exam. So we don't create study materials, but that's why we work with third-party providers like GBRE who create WELL AP study materials that we vet to make sure that people have practice quizzes and things that they can use on the exam. What we have is our core resources, and that's essentially what the WELL AP exam is based on. Excuse me. So after that, you'll schedule your exam. You can take it either in person or online, in person at a Prometric testing center, which isn't available all around the world, but they do have many testing sites across the world. But if you don't have a testing center near you, you can take it online. So then you'll take the exam, hopefully pass with flying colors. We typically tell people to book your exam out 3 months is our recommendation and no more than 3 months. So we really want you to, we find that people, once they start studying any longer than 3 months, you start to kind of lose what you started in the beginning. So, and then receive your credential. So after you receive your credential, you can get started on becoming a WELL AP, working on projects, helping your organization, kind of however you want to apply it. Okay, we can go to the next one. So kind of some new things with the new WELL AP exam. So the WELL AP exam, we just went through our beta phase. So we're now through with that on Monday officially. We'll be graduating the exam out of its beta phase. And so with that, we have created several resources for you to kind of guide you along this redesigned exam. So this is one of the documents that we have, our Get to Know the New WELL AP exam guide. In this guide, you'll find we have embedded content. Now, embedded content is something that we did not have on the previous exam. We have tables with some of the features, all the feature names, some of the air and water concept numbers and thresholds, so you don't have to necessarily memorize them when you're studying for it. So this is available in this guide, and it's also available on the exam. So you can make sure you know what is in the embedded content so you know how to apply it when it comes to exam day. You can go to the next one. So this is just kind of a breakdown of what's most new about the WELL AP exam. It is now on the WELL Building Standard version 2, so there is more to know. There's more concepts. So we have 10 concepts for you to learn, and we also include WELL certification and WELL portfolio guidebooks, and those are also included on the exam. But different from version 1 exam is all the knowledge domains are distributed equally. So for example, on the version 1 exam, there were a lot of questions related to the air feature and the air concept, and a lot of questions among the air features. But now it's all evenly split across each concept. So you are required to know a vast knowledge of information. There will be more application and analysis-based questions, Similarly, that's why we decided to include the embedded content. So people will have to memorize feature names less and numbers. And we really want you to focus on the intent, along with which are preconditions and optimizations. This one will have 115 questions, and you have 2.5 hours to take the exam. There will be a project scenario, which is also a new feature on this exam. There will be some questions that require you to reference the project scenario. We don't share the project scenario before the exam, but it's pretty, I would say it's a pretty short paragraph, something very easy to digest. And if you kind of understand how a well project works, I think it'll be pretty easy to pick out the answers from the project scenario, I would say personally. And then, as I mentioned, there is embedded content. This is content from the Well Building Standard version 2 and the guidebooks, and it's compiled into a PDF document. You'll have this document, so you'll be able to study up on it, including the feature names and numbers, some of the thresholds, air filtration level tables, all things that you don't have to memorize, which I think is a big relief to people taking the exam. And these are the core resources, as I mentioned. So the exam is based on these 3 core resources. If you didn't have any additional study help or study guides or quizzes or materials, you really only need to know these 3 core resources, but they are intimidating, I would say, to necessarily dive into and to guide your studying, which is why third-party providers like GBRE bring in these great quizzes and study guides that make it a lot more digestible to be able to get into this content. I think that is, do I have another slide? I don't know if I do. Oh, yes, I do. There's also group pricing for the Well AP exam. So this is just something I want to mention. If you are at an organization or there's a group of you that wants to take the exam, we do encourage, groups to take it. And then you also have people to study with, allies to, keep reminding, make sure you're studying, have a little group. So we do recommend there is strength in numbers and, working together on the Well AP. Go to the next slide. Our member organizations also save on the Well AP exam. So if you are part of an IWI member organization that you know of, you might be able to save 30%. Or if you are a client of an IWI member organization, they can also offer you 30% on the Well AP exam. So want to make sure I mention those savings to inquire about that. And then next one. And then one last thing I will mention is where obviously you can gain in-house expertise to scale your impact. We do, recommend asking your employee to sponsor your Well AP credential. And you can we have resources that help you have this conversation with your employee. You can really talk through how working on well projects, creating a culture of health, how you can advance that health and well-being at your organization, in your community. And then we also have well faculty like Jeslyn. So, we do have well faculty that if your organization was hoping to have their own Well AP training or workshop, our well faculty are really prepped to be able to provide this information, have speaking opportunities, that sort of thing. So always helpful to have well APs and well faculty on the team. So that, I think I covered most of the questions, and if I didn't, I will happily answer any additional questions you guys have. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Maggie. Yes, I think you did. I've been following the questions that have been coming in, and you were hitting those points. Let me just say to the group that the volume of questions is such that we're not going to be able to actually answer all of them live, but all of them will be answered either through the chat, as Felicia has been doing so far, or via the Q&A segment as well. So we will answer all of your questions, rest assured. But this is a good jumping off point for Jeslyn to come back and talk about the specifics as to what GBRI is doing with respect to exam prep and continuing education for well professionals. Jess?
Yes, thank you, Mike, and thank you, Maggie. That was very informational. So you said April 11th, that is the first day people can take the, okay, I'm very excited. I'm actually planning to take one more round of exam. I took mine in 2016, so it definitely needs a little bit of freshening up. So what is GBRI doing in terms of exam prep? So we have on the screen now, you're looking at two options. We are revamping our exam prep and our CE. So in fact, in 2016, we developed our exam prep and CE. Right now, we are looking at a few things. One is a safety rating, what exactly safety rating is, how can you utilize it for your projects, and we are going to revamp a version of I Am Doing Well. So this was one of our courses we introduced in 2016. The course was titled I Am Doing Well, Are You? So this one would be titled I Am Doing Well, Me Too, Are You? And we have Velopedia, which is again Velopedia version 1. We'll be upgrading it to Velopedia version 2. So hopefully in the next 1 week or 2, we would be releasing all these. So it's exciting to know IWBI releasing the exam on April 11th. So we would be having our exam prep actually by then. So we have our exam prep now, we're refining it. So by April 11th, we should be having to, hopefully we'll be hosting it live. And just like Maggie mentioned, I am planning to teach Velopedia exam prep live. So we are calling it Study with a Well faculty, and we'll start this session later this month. So it'll be a 4 to 5 week program, which I'll walk you through in a second. And then we'll also have a course on the ABCs of well certification, like what projects could do, starting from registration all the way to project scenarios. So many of those things we could utilize from our past experiences. Like we had a lead project experience course, we would do something similar in that capacity. And of course, case study series. We were planning to show a case study today, but due to time constraints, we will push it to another course series with multiple case studies, which will give you access to that on our website. So here is a little bit about the exam preps that we have. So what we are right now offering is a WellAP mock exams, which is basically a collection of 10 concept-wise quizzes, like practice questions for each concepts. And then we have 3 mock exams, two of which is actually simulated, which means we could simulate the exam experience for you. And the other one is the Study with Jesslyn Workis, me, the Well faculty, which we're planning to host starting April 21st and at 12 p.m. Eastern. So if, just like Maggie mentioned, if you want to study with a friend, I believe Felicia was talking about $100 discount. So you would, if you have 2 friends of you study together, then that's a better deal. And also I would be taking the exam myself. So it will be 4 to 5 sessions. After that, we'll take the exam together. So I make sure if you join the class, I make sure we take the exam on 6th or 7th week. So here is the plan I have. Week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, and week 5 we will make it happen. So on the screen now, you're looking at some reviews from our past exam prep. This was by USGBC Pro reviewers. On the USGBC website, they have multiple pro reviewers who rigorously review all the courses. So GBRI was one of the highest rated courses on the USGBC platform. So you can see the rating over there. So I'm really hoping that that we will be able to help you pass the exams in flying colors, just like Maggie mentioned. And of course, things have changed a lot. The past was more memory based. This one is more application based, but we will actually not fail. So with that said, we have a few courses that are happening in the next few weeks. This first one you see on the screen is not related to it's a planning, scheduling, and sustainability course that Mike will be also part of. I'll be also part of this. And then we also have a course on passive house in schools. This is sort of related to the courses that we are talking about. We have been partnering with CHIPS, the Collaborative for High Performance Schools, in the last few months. And I'm sure you might have taken some of the courses. There are many of them. So we have 4 or 5 so far, and they all of them actually relate pretty closely to the health and well-being of students. So with that said, let's do a quick Kahoot. Before that, I also want to introduce a program that we are very excited about. It's a program that Mike is going to lead, Leaning Forward, Best Practices for a Successful Professional Career. As Felicia mentioned, he is a mentor for all of us. Mike has more than 40 years of experience, and he is willing to share his wisdom with us. The program which he has named the Leaning Forward program, it consists of 5 modules and is offered in 3 tiers: entry level to 10 years experience, and tier 2 is mid-level managers, and tier 3 is C-level executives. So we are highly looking forward to this, and it'll be the intro session would be we're hoping to host this in the month of May. Stay tuned, and we will keep you informed about the program. So with that, let's do a quick Kahoot, shall we? So if you are familiar with the Kahoot, I'm going to need your help too. So Felicia, let me know if you can see my screen once I, let's see. So if you have your phone open, then you could play this game. Felicia, can you see my screen?
I can see it. It looks like Kahoot is loading.
Oh, perfect, perfect. All right. So, so guys, take your phone. This is very fun. And please go to kahoot.it on your phone, or if you have an app. So if you just go on your Google and just type, kahoot.it. Once you go there and enter the pin 8445039. Should be hearing the music.
Yes, we can also hear the music.
Perfect. So I'm going to also join now. So once you enter the pin, you can enter the name. Oh, wow. I can see James. All right. Wonderful. So we have 25 participants. It's going up. Oh my gosh. Very exciting to see all. All right, so I can see all many names over here. Eco, some really creative names. Also see Aaron for Virginia. I'm hoping VA is for Virginia. There's Wisconsin. Let's give a couple more minutes for everyone to join. So you can also play it on your system, but if not, if you have a second monitor, you can actually open a new tab, like an Explorer or a Chrome window, and then go to Kahoot.it too. That's an option too, if you don't have a phone with you now. So we also have Buddha. All right. Shall we go ahead and start, Felicia? It should be, it's 186 people, right? Okay.
Yeah, I think we have a good number. I think we can go ahead and get started.
So, yeah, I think people can still join too. Okay, let's start. But if you are not logged in yet, you can still log in. You have the number there, so we will include the number in the chat. So first is actually word cloud. What are the 3 words that come to your mind when you see or hear the word well? You can just type the 3 words at a time. Okay, you don't have to.
I see some people that are also entering their answers in the chat. So if you are not able to join the Kahoot, please feel free to participate in our chat.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's a good idea. Well, thanks for being so creative. Yeah. So now you can see on the screen now, what everyone has entered. So you can see the health is something that most people have entered. That's why the big cloud, health, healthy, wellness. Wonderful. So now you got a hang of the game. All right, so now we're getting serious now. How big is the global health and wellness market? So you heard Maggie mention the number. Is it 1.5 trillion, or is it 3.2, or is it 4.2 trillion? The correct answer is 4.2 trillion. 28 of you guys got the right answer. But now you all know, even if you made a mistake, now you know it's $4.2 trillion market. Oh, look at that. So Polo is actually leading it, followed by Randy and Greg. Good job, guys. All right. Next question. Well, version 2 comprises of how many concepts? By the way, you get more points if you hit the answer as soon as possible. The right answer is 10. Good job, 59 of you. And also good job to Robin, Jonathan, Danilo, who have posted in the chat. Wonderful. Well, Polo is still maintaining the lead. All right. Question number 4. Which of the following are new features under Well community concept? Enhanced occupant survey, community access and engagement, new mother support, or is it all of the above? And the correct answer is all of the above. Thank you. And thank you, Robin, Jonathan, everyone who's entering in the chat. I'm looking at that screen also at the same time. Oh my gosh, look at that. I'm there following Polo. Okay, maybe I should not actually participate anymore. It'll be a conflict of interest because I prepared the
Yeah, I think it's just a little conflict of interest there.
All right. So let's not do that. Okay, I'm going to be accusing myself from the quiz. So Well complements LEED, BREEAM, and other green building rating systems. True or false? Wonderful, 60. The right answer is yes. Well complements LEED, BREEAM, and other green building rating systems. Look, I excused myself.
Look at that.
All right, so we are on the last question now. No, actually two more questions. Innovation is not a well concept, but it touches upon all the other concepts. Is it true or false? Wonderful. The answer is true. And we have new players here. Polo, but still maintaining the lead. Last question. Which of the following is true about Well version 2? Well version 2 is global. Is it resilient? Is it evidence-based? Or is it all of the above? The answer is all of the above. Now let's see who is the winner. Emily on number 3. Good job, Emily. PK on number 2. Oh, number 1. Good job.
Great job, everyone.
Mike is there. I see Mike in number 4 and Randy number 5. Thank you so much for joining us today. Let me see if I can exit this and share the screen again. So that concludes our session from my end. Thank you again for joining us today. We are very excited to launch our exam prep and well CE series. So take the first step. You can go to gbrionline.org/well, and there we have listed all the options. I also encourage you to go to the webinar page and leave your comments. That will help us a lot to make our webinars much more informative and fun. So I'll include Felicia, can you include the link in the chat? That way, if anyone can go there and leave comments on what you learned, what you would like to learn more. And if you have any more questions, please feel free to come on, you can ask now. And I believe Felicia has answered most of the questions. Thank you, Felicia, for doing that.
Yes, I did see there were some that I was not able to answer. They were asking if they had paid for a previous version of the guide. Do they have to pay full price for the new one? That was something maybe Maggie might be able to answer.
I think they would have to pay full price again, not to be the...
Thank you for
Yeah.
confirming that.
All right, so let's see. I think there was a question about the well version. We'll definitely get back to you also on if some of the questions are not being answered live. We can definitely look into it, and I can also work with Maggie to see, and then we can include the response and send it to all the participants.
And also, I did include the reporting information for today's session so that you can self-report this 1 general hour. If you are not able to see that in the chat, we will be sending that out via email as well after the session. So just keep an eye out for that.
Perfect. Thank you again. Thank you so much for joining. And we look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you, Maggie. Thank you for joining us. And thank you again, Mike.
Great job, everyone.
All right, so shall we? Okay, I see the questions now. So Felicia, maybe I have another call now. After the call, we can definitely I can go through the questions and answer it.
That sounds great. I will share a document with all the different questions so that we can get those answered.
Perfect. And I think I see some questions from Mike. Are there any discounts for veterans and seniors? Absolutely, yes. I'm not sure if Mike is still there. Did we answer those? I'm assuming we did answer them, right, Felicia?
For Mike, yes. So we have not answered no.
Oh, okay. So I'm not sure if Mike is still on the air now, but we have the discounts for veterans and seniors and students. So please get in touch with us and we will work with you on that. All right, Felicia, thank you. I'm going to actually leave now. Mike, I have another call with the Rhode Island folks. Are you going to join that call, Felicia, or?
Yes, I can join it.
Okay, so this is just an update, Mike. I'm going to give it to them and I'll keep you in the loop.
Okay, very good, guys. Yep.